Hello everyone. In this video, we will read and understand class 10th poem How to Tell a Wild Animal by Carolyn Wells. In this poem, the poet has created humor in explaining or talking about wild animals. The poet has told how you will identify dangerous wild animals in a humorous way. Let's see what is there in the poem. If ever you should go by chance to jungles in the east, and if there should to you advance, that means towards you approaches, a large and tawny beast. Tawny is yellowish brown. Beast is a huge animal. If he roars at you as you're dying, you'll know it is the Asian lion. The poet says that if you get a chance of going towards the jungles in the east, and if there towards you approaches or comes a yellowish brown huge animal who roars in such a fierce way that you get so scared that you almost die because of his roar, it is actually Asian lion. So you will identify Asian lion by its roar and by its color. Before going further, let's see the rhyming scheme, the poetic devices of this stanza. First, we will see rhyming scheme. For that, we need to see the last word of each line. And if we see that words chance and advance, words east and beast, and dine and lion are rhyming. Hence, the rhyming scheme is AB, AB, CC. Now, last word dine and lion are actually not rhyming, but the poet has taken poetic liberty by changing the spelling of word dine in such a way that we pronounce it as dine. He has done it to rhyme it with lion. So, poetic liberty has been taken by the poet. Now, let's see the figure of speech. First, we have inversion. Inversion is the change in sequence of words in a sentence. Here, in this sentence, should to you advance. The poet has changed the sequence of the words in such a way that it rhymes with it fits in the poem and creates a rhyming scheme. It should actually be to you should advance, but the sequencing has been changed. Now we have allusion. Allusion is reference to someone or something famous. Here Asian lion is something famous. So there is allusion. Next, or if sometime when roaming round a noble wild beast greets you with black stripes on a yellow ground, just notice if he eats you. Ground is background. This simple rule may help you learn the Bengal tiger to discern. Discern means to identify. So if going further, if a noble beast greets you, if you are greeted by a noble looking, friendly looking wild animal, and if you see that there are black stripes on the body, on the yellow background of the animal, and you should notice that if you go near it, it will eat you, then there is a simple rule that it is Bengal tiger. Obviously, the poet has created exaggeration. If he eats you, how will you identify? So there is humor that has been created by the poet. If strolling forth means roaming forward, moving forward. A beast you view. Again, you see an animal while going forward whose hide with spots is peppered. Hide is animal skin and peppered means here it is covered with spots. So if you see an animal going forward who has all spots over his body, as soon as he has leapt on you, you will know it is the leopard. And when he jumps on you and start eating you, then you should know that it's a leopard. It will do no good to roar with pain. He'll only leap and leap again. So you can keep roaring, keep crying with pain, but he is not going to leave you. He will eat you completely. He'll keep jumping on you and he'll keep eating you. And you should know that then it's a leopard. Again, we have inversion in Bengal tiger. The Bengal tiger to discern, there is inversion. The sequence of sentence has been changed. Then we have allusion. Bengal tiger is something famous. Then we have alliteration in roaming round, r sound. Then we have repetition in the last line, lep and lep again. We have assonance in the line, do no good to roar. Now what is assonance? Assonance is a poetic device in which vowel sound is repeated in closely placed word. Here we can see that O sound is repeated in this line. So there is assonance. And as I said, poetic license or poetic liberty is the liberty that a poet takes to change the spelling of words in order to create rhyme in the poem. So in the line leapt, the poet has changed the spelling of leapt. Instead of L-E-A-P-T, he has used L-E-P-T. In the previous stanza also, we saw that the dying spelling has been changed by the poet. If when you're walking round your yard, you meet a creature there who hugs you very, very hard, be sure it's a bear. If you have any doubt, I guess he'll give you just one more caress. Caress is a gentle, loving touch. So while roaming in the backyard of your house, you meet with a creature who hugs you very hard, then you should be sure that it's a bear. So bear is famous for his hugging quality, and he breaks your bone by hugging you very tight. So this is how you will identify a bear. Though to distinguish beast of prey means animals who hunt, a novice might nonplus. Novice means someone who is new to the job. Nonplus is puzzled or confused or surprised. The crocodile you always may tell from hyena. Thus, hyena come with merry smiles, but if they weep, they are crocodile. So if somebody who is new, who is a novice, who doesn't know how to identify or distinguish between wild animals who hunt, then there is a difference that the poet has told, that how will you differentiate between crocodile and hyena? A hyena always keeps smiling. Hyena is famous for its resemblance of laughter with human laughter, and crocodile is well known for shedding crocodile tear. It means when we say that he's shedding crocodile tears, that means it's a fake tear. He doesn't mean it. Now, figure of speech, again alliteration in the line. When you're walking your yard, who hugs, her sound, and then novice might nonplus, ner sound. Then we have assonance in the line, meet a creature there, e sound repeated. Now last stanza. The true chameleon is small, a lizard sort of thing. He hasn't any ears at all and not a single wing. If there is nothing on the tree, this the chameleon you see. So how will you identify a chameleon? It's a very small creature. It's just like a lizard. And if you see a creature with no ear and no wing, then you should, and if you also see that there is nothing on the tree, you should be sure that there is a chameleon, because chameleon is known to camouflage. That means blend with the environment. So this is how you will identify a chameleon. Again, the true, he hasn't, there is alliteration. Now let's quickly see the question answers. Does dine really rhyme with lion? Can you say it in such a way that it does? No, it doesn't. The poet has taken poetic liberty, and I just said it in the way. It is actually dying, but we will pronounce it as dine. How does the poet suggest that you identify the lion and tiger? When can you do so according to him? So the poet says that if you go to jungle of east by chance and come across a beast in yellow brown color and it roars out in such a fierce way that you die out of fear, then it's an Asian lion. Whereas if while roaming you are greeted by an animal who has black stripes on yellow background and the skin on the background of yellow skin, and it attacks to kill you, then it's a Bengal tiger. This is how you differentiate between them. Do you think the words leapt and leapt in the third stanza are spelled correctly? No, they are not spelled correctly. The poet has taken poetic liberty in order for them to rhyme. Look at the line, a novice might nonplus. How would you write this correctly? Why is the poet's incorrect line better in the poem? So it's not a correct line. Again, we have seen that there is inversion in the line, and the correct line will be a novice might be nonplus. Nonplus means surprise. And the poet has written in order to bring rhyme to the poem, as nonplus rhymes with thus. So he has taken poetic liberty. So this is about this poem, and we will soon do next poem. Till then, bye bye. Take care.